Today we're doing another Are Those Book Talk Books Worth Reading, but with a little bit of a twist. We've done a couple of these videos in the past where we go through popular book talk books and smash or pass them, but today we're actually going to be ranking those books. So we have our laptop out with our tier ranker on there, and all the books we're going to be going over today are our Literal Besties Book Club books.
This idea was actually suggested by a subscriber at Maxine789, and they said a video idea I think that would be fun for you guys is if you rank all of the book club books since it's been over a year since it started, I think, which we thought was a really fun idea. We did start this book club about March of last year, and we've read a bunch of really great books and not so great books. Every month we have polls so that everyone can decide on what book we read for each month. So I think that's why a lot of times the popular trending book talk book always wins. So we have all of the 13 Literal Besties Book Club books that we've read here in front of us, ready to be ranked. We have 5 different tiers. We have loved, liked, not the best, split, and hated. We thought it was a good idea to do split because I know sometimes you like a book, sometimes I hate a book, sometimes I like a book, and sometimes you hate it. So I think we'll have a few of those.
So the very first book we read in the book club was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, book 1 in the Maple Hills series. This was a college sports romance, and it was very smutty, more than we were anticipating. I felt really bad that it was the first book out the gate because if people are uncomfortable with smut, there was a lot of it.
And straight off the bat,
Straight off the bat. I think the book club was split as well. The average rating was a 3.8. So I guess that's kind of in the middle.
I gave it 4 stars, so I don't know. I always love a college sports romance. I do think Nate and Stas are really cute together, and I always love a found family. But there was a lot of smut. That was like my only big complaint was like, can we calm down?
It was unnecessary.
Yeah. And too quick.
I just remember as I was reading, I felt like the plot was getting more and more ridiculous and I just couldn't get on board. I think I ended up giving it just like a straight 3. So I don't know where we're gonna rank this. If I'm just looking at these, I feel like not the best. But I know you liked it.
I did like it.
Should we split?
We're gonna split on this one.
Very first one and we're already split.
I think that's good though. The average was 3.8. I think that's a very split book. The next book we have is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, a mystery thriller. And I already knew I was going to love this one because one of my favorite mystery thrillers ever is Rock, Paper, Scissors. So I had extremely high hopes for this one. And the book definitely met my expectations.
I really enjoyed this one too. Not only was it probably the most fun book to read with the book club because everyone was putting all of their predictions and reactions in the chat, but also I remember having a really good experience with this one because it's like an Agatha Christie retelling, and I had recently read And Then They Were None by Agatha. So this was like a really fun reimagining of that story. I thought it was done so well.
Pretty much everybody in the book was horrible, so it was really fun just to like talk mess with the whole book club. And I remember with this one, I was able to guess one of the big twists early on, but it really didn't even ruin the experience for me. I was just kind of waiting for it to come to light. I did give it a 4 star, so another one that I really enjoyed.
I loved it. I gave it a 4.25. The book club average rating was a 3.9. So almost a 4.
I don't know, but I loved it.
I loved it. I wouldn't mind putting it in the love tier.
Okay, love it goes.
Up next, we have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros.
Just split it already.
We just put it in split before we even...
I don't even want to get into it.
No, honestly, let's go through it first. You guys know this was probably one of the most popular fantasy books of last year.
I remember with this one, I was really nervous about reading it just because it was so hyped in the book community. And honestly, whenever that happens, a lot of times I don't end up liking them. But with this one, I really did love it. It's just something about a romantasy that I think I will always love.
I think this book had pros and cons. I did overall enjoy it. Like, I read the whole thing. I read the second book. It just at times felt like a mess and like a mush of different things, but I think all fantasy books kind of get like that at some point. They just remind you of other stories. This one was basically just Divergent and the Poppy War, like mixed together in my mind. But I mean, I still read it. I gave it a 4 star apparently. Reflecting back, I'm surprised, but I guess in the moment I thought it was pressured. 4 stars. Yeah, I thought I was gonna give that like a 3.5, 3.75.
I gave it a 5 star.
Dang.
I enjoyed it. I wasn't here when I read it. I was there.
I gotcha. I don't know where, we might split it then, because I mean, I liked it. I wouldn't put it in love.
Okay, let's split.
Okay, our second split already. The book club average was a 4.8. 8.
That is right, Literal Besties. You are correct.
That's kind of crazy. That's almost a 5-star perfect rating.
The next one we have is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I don't know what my deal is with this author. And it's not even her. I love her. But I think it's like always her books. There's just miscommunication all over it and I just can't. But I will say, I think I've read every single Emily Henry book but the new one that just came out. And of all of them, this was like my most favorite if I had to pick a favorite. There's just something about second chance romance books that I've come to discover I don't like. I know a lot of people like them because they're realistic and, you know, whatever. And I'm trying to escape from the realistic, you know? So I think every time I read a second chance romance book, I'm so tired of the miscommunication and everything. And I think that's why it ruins my experience. But I've learned I don't want to read any more miscommunication or second chance romance.
I feel like popular books are always second chance, though, and you don't know until you start reading it. I actually really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4-star. I think it was only the second Emily Henry book that I've ever read. I don't really remember loving People with Me on Vacation, but I loved this one. The average rating in the book club was a 4.0, so pretty solid. Okay, where should we put it?
Ooh. We're gonna split.
Okay. I think most of these are gonna be split. The next book we read was Alice Feedy's His and Hers. I think because we all love Daisy Darker so much, we were really excited to read another book by her. But if I recall, I do not think this one went very well in the book club. Well, okay, that's not true. The average rating was a 3.9, which I'm actually surprised about. I think I personally did not really enjoy this one.
I remember this one. Every single character was unlikable, and I gotta like at least somebody. Like in Daisy Darker, I liked Daisy, so it was fine. But this one, I didn't like anybody. And I remember thinking the whole time, like, this is a 3.5. And then at the very end, something crazy happened. So I'm like, okay, 3.75. But I don't know. It was still like a little too much.
I give it a 3.75 as well. That's a little surprising, but I do like her writing. I'm interested to read something else by her that's not this, because I want to know if Daisy Darker was like a one-off or not.
This was definitely my least favorite book from Alice Sweeney though. So, I don't know. I didn't hate it. I would say it wasn't the best.
I'd say not the best. That's a good one.
Okay, up next we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I just remember this book put me in the biggest reading slump I've ever been in. It took me 3 weeks to finish this book, and that is not normal for me. It'll take me like maybe a week tops to finish a book, not 3. I enjoyed the beginning, and then I remember things just kind of started slowing down towards the middle and the end, and then the end was reminding me of a different story. And I remember with this one, I was like, I need to read the second book to truly know how I feel. And my feelings didn't really get better with the second book, so I don't know, that's just me.
I'm surprised that this was one of the biggest fantasy books of last year.
Agreed.
It's just, I was expecting so much. The story, I will say, was very poetic and romantic. I'll give them that. But it was the pacing was so slow, and I think this was our first clue that we don't necessarily enjoy lower stakes books. If you could consider this lower stakes, I felt like the pacing made it feel low stakes. I liked the book, I did not love it. I cannot believe the hype that it had.
This one I can agree with you. Like, your feelings on Fourth Wing is the way I feel about this book.
Okay.
I don't know, what are we thinking? Not the best? Did you hate it?
I didn't hate it. I would go as far to say that I liked it, but I did not love it.
Okay.
Okay.
I did give it 3.5, so I can agree with that. Like,
the next book we have is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This was a really fun YA mystery thriller.
I really loved this one so much. It was actually the book that got me out of the Divine Rivals reading slump that I was in, so I will forever be thankful for this book. I was just so captivated the whole time, and I loved the romance and the mystery. I think there was a good balance between both. I definitely know that I like the Natural series more than the Inheritance Game series, so I am happy about that. But yeah, I don't know. I liked this one. I gave it 4 stars.
The book club average rating was a 4.3, so that's pretty good. I remember really enjoying this one. I think I read it in one sitting. It didn't blow me away, so I gave it a 3.75, but I really liked how, even though it's part of a series, the ending of the first book kind of wrapped everything up in a way where I didn't feel like I needed to read more of the series, so I appreciate it for that.
I'm thinking liked.
Yeah, I feel like I liked it. I'm good with that.
Okay, good. Up next, we have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I really loved this one. It was such a perfect, cozy mystery, and I always adore a found family. I remember I was able to guess, like, the overall killer very early on, but again, I wasn't bothered by that. I still had fun with it. I just thought it was a perfect, cozy mystery, so I gave it 4 4 stars.
I liked it. As you said, the found family I think was the best part. I thought our main character was super quirky and fun to read about. I felt like it was a solid book. The average book club rating was a 3.9. I will say with the amount of ratings though, I think a lot of people chose not to read this one. It was around the fall time though, so cozy mystery is what won the polls. I thought it was a fun time. I could have done without it though.
Okay, so what would you rank it? Split.
Yeah, we'll do split again. Up next we have Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. This was super big around the holiday season. It was a holiday rom-com. I remember it was really cute. It took place on like a Christmas tree farm. The average book club rating was a 3.7. I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 3.5.
I don't even remember liking it that much. I wrote that I could see myself getting the other books in this series. I had no idea. Maybe I should check those out.
I think I gave it a very generous 3.5. But I liked the setting, I liked all of the characters, I liked the banter. I put not sure if I'll continue with the series.
Oh my god, I didn't even know I liked it that much. I put it in liked.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Liked. Up next we have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, which is the second book to Divine Rivals. We did think this would be fun to read with the book club since we did read the first book together. And I'm glad so many of you guys liked it. The average rating was a 4.2. I gave it another generous 3.5. What'd you give it?
I gave it 3.
So.
And there's that. No, I thought it was okay. Again, beautiful, beautiful writing. I was not interested in this plot the entire book. The entire book. I don't know why. I didn't connect. I didn't care. I was just watching these things happen. I do not think it needed a sequel.
What are we thinking? Not the best, or did you hate it? Or?
I didn't hate. I would say not the best. Honestly, did I hate it? No. Well, I don't know. I can't say I hated it if I gave it 3 stars. Exactly. We shouldn't even have hate on the board. If we change that to dislike.
We should have changed that to we should have read something else.
Okay, if we're able to change it now, we'll change it.
Are we all good with that? We should have read something else.
We should have read something else.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
Okay, let me change it really quick. Okay, so we changed it, and we're going to put it under we should have read a different book. But we're very happy that a lot of you guys liked it.
That's all that matters. Ooh, up next, I think we have this year's book, and it is Butcher and Blackbird by Brynn Weaver. This was a huge dark romance, mystery, serial killer type of book. It's essentially just that. It's like a rom-com about serial killers who kill other serial killers. I thought that idea sounded really intriguing. I think this was the only time we chose the book and didn't have a poll for it because we knew how popular it was and how many people wanted to read it. I remember thinking that I was going to be obsessed with this book and it was going to be like my new favorite thing. But I don't think that's what ended up happening. I gave it a 3.25, but don't I give everything a 3.25?
I gave it a 3.5, but don't I give everything a 3.5? I think Sloane and Rowan had a really cute and fun banter. I just found myself getting really annoyed with the time jumps and the miscommunication between those time jumps. It wasn't something that I was expecting going into this, and it kept bothering me throughout the whole book. I remember, like, why are we going years without speaking? And there's all these feelings that we're keeping bottled up. Ugh, nothing makes me more mad. But this was a really fun book club book just because it was amazing seeing everyone's reactions throughout. There was a lot of funny things that happened, so it was fun to talk about it with y'all.
It wasn't even funny things. They were like unhinged things that happened that we were reacting to. I liked this book. Like I said, serial killers and romance sound like it should be right up my alley, but how did they write a book about serial killers and then yet had the characters lack depth? Like, I don't understand. They were supposed to be serial killers. They're supposed to have, I would assume, a bunch of different layers. They were so shallow. Like, the characters were so shallow. I think there was a lot of dark, gory scenes that didn't blend well with the romance. Like, it just wasn't done well in my opinion. It felt random. The book club average rating was a 3.9, which is pretty solid.
What are we thinking here?
I feel like it was not the best.
I agree. Not the best.
Oh no, these are our own book club books and we're like hating on all of them.
I gave everything a 3.5, so that's great. Oh no, not the next one.
Maybe we're the problem.
Maybe we are. Up next we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I gave it 3 stars. I just remember I could not connect the whole time.
It's not even that the plot wasn't interesting. I wasn't intrigued enough in it to care about anything that was happening. which was shocking because I loved the beginning. The longer it went on though, the more it lost me. I just couldn't get behind it. I gave it a 3.25 though.
Same thing. I enjoyed the cozy feel of it, but I was expecting a lot more.
The average book club rating was a 3.6. That feels right.
I just remember there was a few of y'all who were like, I'm not going to continue. And I was like, oh, you're so lucky. But I feel like I have to continue because it's our book club book. So for me, I'm going to say I wish we read something else.
Really?
Really.
I was going to do like not the best.
I mean, it was not the best. I do wish we read something else. Okay, so we're going to put it in we wish we read something else, with all due respect.
I didn't think we were going to be this negative.
It's okay, we're going to end out on a banger for me.
We are. So the most recent book club book that we've already finished is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This one was fantastic. We both really liked it.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite Abby Jimenez book I've read, and I've read pretty much all of them. And I'm so glad so many of you guys liked it too.
4.8.
Ooh!
That matches Fourth Wing. The average rating was a 4.8.
And we both enjoyed it. That was our best book club book so far.
I think so. We're definitely putting it in love.
I actually gave it a 4.75, which is basically a 5-star for me. I loved it, and I was so nervous about this one because I know a lot of you guys, it was like your first time reading Abby Jimenez, and you know I love Abby Jimenez, so I was like, oh, please live up to the hype. And I think she did.
I gave it a 4-star. I don't necessarily read a lot of contemporary romances anymore, but if I did, I think I would try to read Abby Jimenez again or Emily Henry, because those are two authors I know that are gonna write a romance that actually has depth. The characters have chemistry. It's realistic. I found my people if I ever want to read a contemporary romance. I'm putting it in love.
Yeah, definitely. Yay! Our last one is gonna go in loved.
The one we're currently reading is the reappearance of Rachel Price. I'm interested to see where that would fall in our tiers. We've loved every Holly Jackson book we've read in the past, so if you're not already a part of our Literal Besties book club, make sure to join. We will leave that link in the description. I promise we read good books. We're just super tough on books that we read.
We are. Here's our final tier ranking. I think it looks right. I wouldn't change a thing.
I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks bad in terms of how we rate things, but I feel confident in all of our answers for sure. Stacey Darker and Abby Jimenez deserve the top spot. Out of all the book club books, those have definitely been our favorite. And again, like, we've loved some of the ones in Split. It's just one of us didn't love it as much. This was so much fun though. Thank you so much, Maxie, for suggesting this idea. If you guys have any other video suggestions, please let us know. We would love to do them.
If you are a part of Literal Besties Book Club and you have read some of these books, let us know where you're gonna rank them. And if you agree with some of our rankings or if you don't agree with some of our rankings.
That is pretty much it for today's video though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys next time.
I think Sloane and Rowan had such an Rowan. It's always Rowan.
It's always Rowan. Roman. It's always some type of row.
Whatever. I think Sloane and Roman. Rowan.
What is my mom saying? Getting caught up on your videos. Y'all need to say it's going really well. You guys keep saying it's going really good, and that's not proper. It jumps out at me every time. Mom's coming at me. Okay, it's going really well.
Good.
Yeah. She's like, that's not even right.
Tell her we're just girls.
Yeah, literally.